increase. As you might have noticed, prices are climbing at the grocery store and at the gas pumps. Yesterday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics announced inflation has had the fastest rate increase in 40 years. Tonight, Erie News Now Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp shares the concerns of our local congressional members on increasing inflation.
The worst inflation in 40 years.
Our local congressional members are sounding the alarm on inflation.
Now, wages are rising, but inflation is rising faster, and that means workers are falling further and further behind in the Biden economy.
On Thursday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says inflation rose to 7.5% in the past 12 months, one of the sharpest increases in nearly 40 years. Economists say the high inflation could be caused by our economy recovering from the pandemic, combining troubles with the supply chain, keeping goods in short supply, which is pushing up the prices, making things like gas, groceries, and rent more expensive. Local Republican congressional reps are blaming the Biden administration for the inflation issues. Congressman Mike Kelly says in part, by spending trillions of dollars when the economy was already recovering from the pandemic, the Biden administration's economic policies are making inflation even worse.
We're dealing with inflation because of the disastrous policies of the Biden administration from day one. Day one, and it had implications here at home, and it had implications around the globe.
Congressman Glenn Thompson says businesses he's met with have concerns about the supply chain, and this uncertainty adds to costs passed on to consumers. Couple this with workforce shortages and pandemic mandates that are keeping people out of work, he's also blaming the Dems for these issues. Democratic Senator Bob Casey says families need relief now, calling on Congress to expand the child tax credit and make investments in universal pre-K, saying inflation is a global challenge, but the federal government has the ability and responsibility to shield American families from the worst of it by lowering costs. Economists predict these inflation rates could stay up for a while. In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.
Thanks, Rachel. And you can read the congressional members' full statements on our website, erienewsnow.com.